Good morning. I'm Steve Ross. On behalf of the entire related organization, we're thrilled that you're able to join us today to have the official start of construction of Hudson Yards. Usually when we start all of our presentations, we have a video that is officially known as our fight song. So I thought it'd be appropriate today to show you to start with this video.
They say you can tell you've become a real New Yorker the minute you stop looking up. Looking up's for the tourists, for the recent transplants, the people who don't have work to get to, a train to catch. Looking up's for the dreamers, for children who haven't yet outgrown their surroundings, for anyone wide-eyed enough to believe New York still lives up to its namesake as someplace new. But we've heard a different story. We hear there are still neighborhoods to explore, still places to get lost in, still secrets worth finding, that there are still victories to toast, stories left to tell and be told, heights worth climbing, that there are still connections to make, perspectives to consider, and celebrations to come. We've heard that there are plenty of reasons to keep looking up.
The physical history of our city has been defined by a series of moments, instances where dreamers who have dug deep into their imaginations to craft plans that challenged the realms of possibility and became life. In their time, these projects were the Empire State Building, Rockefeller Center, Lincoln Center, the Verrazano Bridge, and the Pennsylvania Railroad Tunnel. All were wonders of the world upon their openings. These developments stretched into our skies, created new neighborhoods, spanned our bodies of water, and defined the city in the eyes of the world. For the 21st century, New York today, December 4th, 2012, is our moment, our time in history, our point to again achieve the seemingly unachievable. Today, we formally start the most ambitious construction project in the history of New York. And we again show that New Yorkers can work together, and there is nothing that we can't achieve. As our country faces challenging economic times and increasing divisiveness, we in New York not only continue to dream big, but we know how to work together and achieve things that were never thought possible. The potential of this great site we have understood for many years. But it was a question, how do we unlock it? We have been able to do so by creating a great public-private partnership. The collective efforts of Mayor Bloomberg, Chairman Lhota, Speaker Quinn, Deputy Mayor Steele, and his predecessors, Deputy Mayors Doctoroff and Lieber, Chairwoman Amanda Burden, Bill Aziz of OMERS and Oxford, our partners, and Weisbrod of HYDC, and our visionary architectural team, led by Bill Pedersen and KPF, David Childs, Howard Elkis, Thomas Wolz, Liz Diller, and David Rockwell, and their entire teams brought this to life. And thank you. And thank you, Gary LaBarbera, and organized labor for your unprecedented leadership. Hudson Yards represents the largest generator of construction jobs in the next decade, and we would not have been here today without the process that we undertook together with your members to reduce the construction costs and make Hudson Yards commercially competitive. The countless hours of meetings with each and every trade, getting to know each other, listening and learning was time well spent. Your members are the country's most talented craftsmen, and they have been on the work since late last week. And we know they're going to exceed our expectations as they bring these buildings to life. And finally, a special thanks is to Lew Frankfort and his incredible team at Coach. For being proud New Yorkers, for believing in the future of our city and neighborhood, and for the bold commitment to Hudson Yards. As I stand before you today, I am thrilled to say that we are over 80% committed to the first commercial tower. As we have recently signed term sheets with 2 additional tenants. Hudson Yards will soon be home to some of the world's most renowned brands. Today we start construction at Hudson Yards and prove yet again that New York City is the greatest city of the world, and it will remain so. The tower we begin will anchor a new neighborhood that will become the new heart of New York, with state-of-the-art commercial space, destination retail, and vibrant restaurants, a unique cultural center, over a dozen acres of public space with iconic plazas and important public art, a school, residences, and affordable housing, all of the elements that make for a great city and a great new neighborhood. And this will now become the new epicenter of New York City. And I am proud to say that Hudson Yards will be the future home of Related, as well as my personal residence. Hudson Yards is the defining development of the 21st century. And we know that we are now taking renderings to reality. There has never been a bigger challenge, honor, or responsibility. For this city of dreamers, their future has arrived. Our moment is here. Let's celebrate it. And no one deserves to celebrate more than Mayor Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg, no mayor has done more than you have for the city of New York. New York has been extraordinarily fortunate to have such a visionary come to answer the call to public service. Your forward-thinking administration has left the mark on every corner of this city, but no other accomplishment will be more visible or more impactful than Hudson Yards. You saw the potential in this area, and you worked tirelessly to move every single piece forward. From the massive rezoning of West Chelsea to the south, to the Hudson Yards district to the north, to the creative financing of the 7 subway line, to the planning of the innovative cultural center, and the development of one of the greatest networks of open landscaping, including Hudson Park Boulevard and the High Line. Mayor Bloomberg, you have created a lasting legacy for all New Yorkers and have visitors from around the world. Mayor Bloomberg, you are developing, and you deserve our applause and our gratitude. But please join me in welcoming the greatest mayor in the history of New York, Michael Bloomberg.
Thank you. Steve, thank you. And I appreciated the kind words, but I think it's fair to say that Bob Steele and Seth Pinsky and before them Bob Lieber, Andy Albert, and Dan Doctoroff deserve a lot of the credit. Not to mention, these applause should also be for Christine Quinn, how she has led the city council and made an enormous amount of difference. It would not have happened without Chris. Anyways, I always start out by saying good morning, at least if it's before noon, although sometimes I don't look at my watch and do it afterwards. But it is a good morning after years and years of planning and partnership. Breaking grounds in the first commercial building on the Hudson Yards is a wonderful thing. The South Tower, which is what we're talking about here, will stand 47 stories tall, 1.7 million square feet of space. This is where the fashion industry leader Coach Inc. will locate its headquarters. It'll be one of the anchors of the new whole Hudson Yard district. Every place you turn down here, there's another crane, another boring machine starting to work. This is the future of New York. And this site's 26 acres will make it Manhattan's largest undeveloped property, now becoming a developed property. In fact, it is one of the largest private developments ever undertaken in the country. And the beautiful state-of-the-art commercial, retail, and cultural spaces that will be built here will further transform our city's iconic skyline. You know, a writer once said that New York's skyline embodies our city's grace and swagger, creativity, and hard labor. It's also a symbol of the fact that in the race for global competitiveness, I think it's fair to say New York stands alone. Our administration remains committed to sharpening New York's competitive edge, and we worked with all levels of city government and also the Hudson Yards Development Corporation President Ann Weisbrod to make this happen. Yes, they deserve it. And let me just also point out, it's I think obvious, but without related companies, Steve Ross, Jeff Blau, and Bill Aziz of OMERS making the necessary investments, this would just not happen. The entire Hudson Yards development, which will create nearly 23,000 construction jobs and 1,000 more permanent jobs, is another major step in our city's ongoing economic revival. As the first commercial tower in the Hudson Yards area will sit just south of the platform that will rise over the rail yards, its construction is an important first step in fulfilling our vision for the new Hudson Yards community. And as more tenants commit to the area, Related will build the platform and the additional towers that will be constructed atop the platform, allowing us to realize our vision. When we created that vision, we began with two basic principles. First, we determined that the Hudson Yards area should be a mixed-use community and an extension of the Midtown Central Business District. In addition to creating affordable housing and schools, ensuring that businesses and their customers have world-class commercial spaces, those will be key drivers of economic competitiveness and for job growth in our future. And today's groundbreaking means that the market has spoken, and that even in this challenging economy, we're moving forward to make the Far West Side's economic potential a reality. The next phase of the Hudson Yards project, the construction of over the railroads themselves, will accommodate something like an additional 13 million square feet of residential and retail space, including more than 6 million square feet of modern commercial space. The second principle we started with was recognizing that public policy decisions and infrastructure investment will be crucial to this new community. And that process started with the City Council's approval in 2005 of our proposed rezoning of the Hudson Yards area, covering more than 300 acres. At the same time, we reached an agreement with the MTA to expand the number 7 line west from Times Square to this area. That line, funded by the city, I might point out. This partnership is producing the first major addition to our subway system in decades and one of the nation's largest transit-oriented economic development projects. The subway extension will help make the new offices, commercial centers, homes, restaurants, and entertainment venues that are planned for the Far West Side possible. And work on that is moving ahead at full speed. And Hudson Park and Boulevard, a 4-acre network of parks and public plazas that will run north from 33rd Street are also moving forward and are expected to open in 2014. The city's $3 billion in public infrastructure investment has unlocked even bigger private investment. In fact, more than $6 billion worth of private projects have already been completed in the Hudson Yards area since 2005. So it just goes to show that you make the right investments, you really can have a multiplier effect and bring real business and real growth to our city. This growth has included more than 6,000 residential units to date. Approximately 1,600 apartments built or under construction as part of the Hudson Yards Initiative are affordable housing. Some 3,000 new hotel rooms have also built in the Hudson Yards area since 2005. That's more hotel rooms than almost every city in the country, bar maybe 50, has in their entire city. And all of this means jobs for New Yorkers. This public-private investment is making Hudson Yards thrive, and so will construction of the Culture Shed, which will sit partially atop the deck that will be built among the rail yards. And working with dynamic architects Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro, and David Rockwell, this project is another step in New York City's development as the world's home for innovation and the arts. And that's what gets an awful lot of people to come here. The Culture Shed will welcome all the creative industries, performance, exhibitions, media, design, and fashion week, and be a destination for community events. And another major attraction, if you're not bored already, is spurring significant investment in the far west side, is the High Line. In September, we began construction on the third and final section of the now famous High Line Park. This new section is known as High Line at the rail yards, and it runs from 30th Street around Hudson Yards up to 34th Street. And I did want to specifically thank CSX, this wonderful railroad company, for donating the three sections to us, as well as the state, the MTA, and the related companies for their great work to preserve the High Line's historic characteristics and structure. Making this day possible took a lot of hard work and dedication from a lot of people, and I would like to invite some of them to share a few words on today's announcement. First, I'd like to welcome Joe Lhota, the chairman of the MTA, which owns this land and is leasing it to Related. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking back to almost 17, maybe 18 years ago in January 1995. I was the finance commissioner of the city of New York, and we just came out with the tax roll. And one thing I noticed, that there was a portion of Manhattan that provided absolutely no revenue to the city of New York. I then went to my boss at that time, Mayor Giuliani, and said, we have to do something for the west side of New York. Well, it didn't happen until Mayor Bloomberg, Deputy Mayor Dan Doctoroff had a vision as to what would happen here on the west side. And so it's great for me to be here on my current capacity as chairman of the MTA to see it come to full fruition, so that this new project that will create jobs as well as commercial space, mixed-use residential space, schools, culture will actually happen here on the west side, because it's not only going to be a new source of revenue, which is how I was thinking about it in my very narrow role as finance commissioner back then. It's going to be something that you rarely ever see in New York, and that is the creation of a new neighborhood, a new place where people are going to live, a new place where people are going to school, where they'll raise their children, and they'll actually work. And for that, I am very, very grateful. So, Steve, Mr. Mayor, everyone, thank you for this opportunity. And as the owner of the property, I am so looking forward to completing the entire project. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Since its founding 70 years ago in a loft not far from here, Coach Inc. has been a recognized leader in the fashion accessory design and production. And now, by anchoring the new Hudson Yards South Tower, Coach is also leading the way into New York's future. And I'd like to invite Coach's CEO, Lew Frankfort, to share a few words. Lew?
Good morning, everyone. There are too many people to thank, so I'm just going to say thank you at all. This is a remarkable day. We have come a long, long way to be here today, and we're thrilled to be part of the Hudson Yards launch. As the mayor said, we were founded more than 70 years ago in New York City. And for the last 50 years, we have been headquartered just a few steps away from where we stand at 10th Avenue and West 34th Street. The city has inspired, motivated, and shaped our brand. And so many of us at Coach call New York and the surrounding area home. Over these 7 decades, we have grown from a very small loft maker with 6 craftsmen to a global enterprise employing over 17,000 people, 1,600 of whom work in 3 buildings on 33rd and 34th Street. Our involvement in this project reflects our confidence in Coach, the revitalization of the Hudson Yards neighborhood, and the unparalleled vibrancy of New York City. Our new headquarters will reflect many of Coach's attributes, such as innovation, collaboration, and quality. Our new home will enable all of our business units to efficiently operate under one roof. For Coach employees and the many, many thousands of visitors to our new headquarters each year, they will experience a true urban campus and benefit from the amenities and parks that will define the neighborhood, as the mayor and Steve indicated earlier. And we're particularly pleased, of course, the Coach's global headquarters will be located at the top of the High Line, which is an incredible landmark which has already successfully been transformed into a great public space. And it is a tourist destination for all of those in the know. And based on recent numbers of visitors, lots of people are in the know. Partnering with Related, led by Steve Ross, gives us the confidence to move ahead with this ambitious project, with the expectation of opening in 2015. Related's track record is exemplary, highlighted by the Time Warner Center, which was born in the shadow of 9/11 and transformed Columbus Circle, resulting in thousands of new jobs, and I might add, a flagship store for Coach on the mid-Upper West Side. Similarly, Hudson Yards came to be in the midst of the economic crisis, and there is no doubt it will become an epicenter of fashion, culture, and business. And finally, Coach, like New York, it's constantly evolving. Even as we move forward, our actions are informed by our heritage. Hudson Yards exemplifies this evolution, and we are very excited to be at the forefront of this renaissance. Again, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Speaker Quinn, Steve, and every one of the countless people, including our own Todd Kohn, for making this possible. Thank you, everybody.
Lew, thank you. Next up is the Council Speaker, Christine Quinn. I think it's fair to say without Chris and these members of the City Council, we would not be here today. Chris?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I first want to take a moment to thank the related companies, because lots of people have talked about doing something here. Only one company will have done something here, the related companies, and that speaks volumes about Steve and Jeff and everyone else at the helm of this company. But I just want to say Related is a company that has a long history on the west side of Manhattan, working collaboratively with community groups, with community boards, with tenant associations, and we've seen that same vision in the way you've conducted yourself with Hudson Yards. So thank you very, very much. I also want to thank Lew and everyone at Coach for never losing faith on about 34th Street. You hung in on the tough years on 34th Street, and for that, We're going to let you pay a lot to be in this glamorous spot as well, so that's how we say thank you in New York. But thank you very, very much, Lew. And Joe, thank you and everyone at the MTA for working with us and helping us make sure the 7 gets extended. And Gary, make sure the guys and gals get this done quick, on time, and in budget. And on behalf of myself and the Borough President, I want to take a moment to thank Community Board 4. I know their chair, Corey Johnson, is here, but there's a lot of Community Board 4 members here, and we could not have done it without Community Board 4 and without the Borough President's office and his great staff. In 2005, before I was Speaker, there was a lot of discussion about what would happen here. And there were some ideas of which there were disagreement and some ideas of which there had the potential to be agreement. And as it relates to the ones where there's potential for agreement, I want to take a moment to really thank everyone who's been part of this in the Bloomberg administration and thank Mayor Bloomberg. But most particularly, I really need to thank former Deputy Mayor Dan Doctoroff, and he does deserve a round of applause. In my opinion, it's important to remember that the process was difficult and contentious in 2004 and 2005. And there was not a lot of agreement, something about a stadium or whatever. We'll keep moving. But what happened here is different than most stories of neighborhood government disagreement. We kept searching for the things we could agree on. We believed there was a way to agree and disagree at the same time. We believed that if people who had a vision for their city kept talking and kept working and kept reworking, you would ultimately find a point of commonality, and that if you were smart enough to seize it, you could take that point and follow it, and it could lead us to something as great as this. And often, people of a deputy mayor title don't recognize that potential and don't let the community in the room. And Dan was completely open and at it with us the whole time. So thank you very much, Dan, because we would not have been here without your vision and recognition that you can, in fact, get there in a process like that. And as I said a moment ago, on behalf of myself and the Borough President and also my colleague Gail Brewer, Assemblymember Dick Gottfried, and State Senator Tom Duane, the Community Board was all in on that. And at times criticized, because some people said you shouldn't be negotiating about something like that. But we all stayed in the room, believing there was a better use for this property than a rail yard, believing that people needed and should get permanent affordable housing, that people should get places to work, that people should get art and culture and open space, and it could all happen in one great spot on the Great West Side of Manhattan. So what we're doing today, it will create jobs. It will create permanent affordable housing. It will create parks, and it will create culture. But more importantly, in my opinion, it'll be a moment in the land use and governmental history of the city of New York where people disagreed tremendously and passionately and stayed in the very same room and kept working to get something done to make the city better. Didn't just yell for the port of yelling, yelled till they could agree and make something wonderful happen. And I want to thank everyone who went down that unusual road and, in my opinion, set a new standard and a new belief that you can always get it done as long as you don't give up and don't walk out of the room.
Chris, thank you. And next, it would not be Manhattan if we didn't hear from Manhattan Borough President Scott Stringer. Scott.
Thank you. Well, I, too, want to join in thanking Mayor Bloomberg and Speaker Quinn, Joe Lhota, of course, the related companies, Steve Ross and Gary LaBarbera, Lew Frankfort, for this amazing day and this incredible project. The rail yard's groundbreaking is a true testament to the strength of New York's real estate market. The development will activate what is currently a literal hole in the ground and provide New York City with millions of square feet of premier office space and residential space while creating significant new revenues for the MTA. It will also have an economic impact long before it even is completed, creating tens of thousands of construction jobs and providing a terrific example of what we can achieve when city agencies, labor, community, government officials come together and say, let's build and view our city beyond our narrow street corners. And this is such a testament, as Chris mentioned, to what's possible. I want to also thank Dan Doctoroff and everybody mentioned, because this is a way that we should go forward. I also want to mention that as someone who supported this project, it was also important that we have cultural space, affordable housing, that the community feels invested in this as we go forward. All of that has been accomplished today. And as Borough President, I want to say how proud I am that on our watch we were able to join together and create something truly magical, something that will be the envy of the world, because that's what our borough and our city is all about. Congratulations to everybody who was not mentioned but really worked hard. Thank you.
Scott, thank you. Our last speaker is perhaps the one with the biggest smile on his face, Gary LaBarbera. He is president of the Building and Construction Trades Council. He has been a great partner in helping to make this project a reality, and I think everybody in this city understands, whether you're a construction worker, whether you finance, whether you rent, buy, build, whatever, this city would not be going up the way it is without Gary LaBarbera. Gary?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Well, I, too, want to wish everyone a good morning. It is still morning. And I want to extend my deepest gratitude on behalf of the New York City Building Trades to Mayor Bloomberg, Speaker Quinn, to all of the related teams, Steve Ross, to Lew, to Joe, to Scott. There are a lot of thank yous to go around. You've heard a great deal about the project this morning, and I'm not going to discuss any more about the project. I'm just going to make a few quick comments. I really, on behalf of the Building Trades, want to thank the Executive Board of the Building Trades, the people that actually made our agreement with related work. We recognized through countless meetings, as Steve Ross pointed out, the importance of this project for the city, the challenges that this project faced, and we, through a very collaborative effort, were able to reach an agreement. And the reason we were able to reach that agreement is, in large measure, one, because of the commitment of the building trades to the City of New York, and two, because of the commitment of related to the building trades. Steve and his team recognized the importance of building a project of this magnitude right, and he recognized that we bring skill and talent unparalleled anywhere else, not only in this city but in this country. So for that, we're very grateful to Related to be so collaborative with the building trades, and we're very pleased that this project is starting. And I will say, you've heard, it's very important to us, and we're very proud of the agreement that we've reached, and it will really truly create 23,000 construction jobs. And in a few short years on this site, there'll be over 7,000 members of the building trades at one time working here, which is a great accomplishment. So once again, thank you all very much, everyone, and thank you, Steve, in particular, for your cooperation and collaboration and the respect that you showed the building trades and your willingness to work with us to reach this agreement. So thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Let me try to summarize today's announcement for our Spanish-speaking New Yorkers. Estamos empezando construcción el primer edificio comercial de proyecto de Hudson Yards que creará casi 23,000 trabajos. La Torre Sur de 46 de 7 pisos será hogar a empresa como la líder de diseño de modas Coach. We'll take a few questions on topic. We're going to take a picture, and then we'll come back to do some off-topic questions if anybody has any. We're going to take some questions, yes or no? Steve? Are we taking questions? Any questions? No questions. So let's go take a picture, and then we'll come back.